Beat it.
Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. They have a right to be angry.
We're here at the Roxy. Woo! Hello, it is me and my roommate Gabby. Say hi. We are at the Roxy. This is hour 1 of 4.5. We're gonna see how long we can be here before we cry, because it's very sad. How are you feeling?
I have a lollipop.
Gabby, how much do you know about Les Mis?
I saw the play once, I forget, either in London or Paris. I don't remember a bit of it. I haven't watched the musical with Hugh Jackman, although I need to. I remember it takes place around a war. People get arrested over bread. And then prisoner gets away, and guard is like, "Where are you?" And then he keeps going around the world being like, "Where are you?" And the guy gets old, gets a daughter. I don't remember exactly. Someone dies. Someone gets trapped under a wagon. And then prisoner goes, pulls it up, and then the guard's like, "Only a prisoner could do that."
Are you excited?
Not about 4 hours, but yeah, I'm excited to see it.
And for me, I know that Gabby likes Les Mis the play.
I didn't say I liked it, I said I've seen it.
Gabby has seen Les Mis the play, that's all I know. Hopefully it's not a silent film like the Lyft driver said it was.
Maybe.
Vous vous rendez compte? Je suis très dangereux.
So there's this guy. He gets released from prison and he's given 19 years work of money. And then he travels to a town and he gets drunk, and then he travels to another town.
They won't even
He
serve
went to
him.
the bar.
Oh, I
It
guess
was
that's
4 francs or whatever. I don't know money.
Hello.
Anyway, he went to the bar. Anyway, he went to a different town. He accidentally stole money from a kid. He didn't realize he did. Oh no, first he went to a priest.
Stole from the priest.
He stole from the priest. He stole a bunch of
Absolute
silver
God.
from the priest. The priest bails him out. Then he goes to another town, accidentally steals from a kid because he's asleep, and the kid drops his coin and his shoe lands on the coin, so the kid's like, "Give me back my money," and he's like, "What is happening?" So then he realizes, he's like, "Oh no." And then it cuts to this lady, Fantine. Love Fantine. She dies.
Morgan's very upset
I was
about that.
upset about
I thought you'd be
Fantine
sad.
dying. I know, but I thought it was just the title. Before she dies, she's very pretty. She's a very pretty lady. She's like Marilyn Monroe before she was born. Anyway, before Fantine died, she's like partying it up. Apparently there's a time skip I did not keep track of. Gabby had to tell me there was a time skip. I didn't realize it. Fantine
It helps to watch this over and over again.
Yeah. Fantine is poor. Fantine got fired from her job. Fantine is paying these people to house her child, but the people housing her child are abusing the child and taking the money for their own daughters and buying them fur coats, which apparently were all the rage in the early 1800s.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
winter.
know that. Yeah. Anyway, they're taking the money and they're using it on their kids, and treat Fantine's child Cosette as a maid, basically. So not fun, but they tell Fantine.
7-ish-year-old maid.
Yeah, but they tell Fantine that her daughter's fine, and they're like, "Yeah, she's fine." She's not fine.
She caught the measles.
She
Just
caught
kidding.
They lied, so she'd
Send us
pay more money.
immediately.
So then Fantine chopped off all her hair and sold her teeth, and then she got in a fight with this man because he was being a dick and threw snow at her in the middle of winter as a poor lady. And then the mayor, Mr. Madeline, Monsieur Madeline, he saves the day. Fantine gets to the hospital. Fantine is being saved. She doesn't get saved, she dies. We said this earlier.
Morgan didn't realize
I didn't
that
realize she would actually
Mr.
die.
Madeline is Jean Valjean.
The guy who broke out in the very beginning, because I missed the time skip. This film is very
You're like,
confusing.
who is he? This is the same person?
Yeah, they're the same
Yeah.
person.
Meanwhile,
Culture
Voltaire
shock.
was like,
Yeah.
nice.
Anyway, so after that happens, they find out that Jean what's his face?
Jean Valjean.
Jean, I can't say that.
Jean Valjean.
That guy. They find him. They don't actually find him because Monsieur
Madeleine.
I didn't take French.
Listening to French so much.
Monsieur Madeleine is actually Jean, but they find a different Jean, and so
But it's not
so
actually Jean.
he
an
stays
old
up
man.
all night. It's an old man. He stays Chateau something. He stays up all night. Monsieur stays up all night to go and drive in his little horse 20 leagues
a day.
I don't know how long that is, but
20
it seems
leagues an
far. The
hour?
poor horse. No, but like 20 leagues overall. He drives 20 leagues in a little chariot. He saves the day. He says, I am Jean. Don't arrest this free man. I am Jean. He only stole apples that fell on the ground. He saves him.
Technically, yeah.
Then he goes to Colette. No, not
Not
Colette. No, not
He gets
yet.
arrested.
He gets arrested, but he says, I'm going to save Fantine. He breaks out of jail, goes and sees Fantine.
Oh, we
Fantine
haven't-
dies.
No, he goes immediately from court to her deathbed. She hasn't died yet, and then she dies.
It's so sad. I was crying.
And then the policeman, he's like, I'm gonna arrest you. And then
Who also worked with him.
Madeline, aka
The court
Jean
seems
Valjean,
very
is
good.
like, you'll do your duty to arrest me, and I will do mine. I will keep my promise to Fontaine.
He broke
And
out
then
of
it
jail.
clips- jail window. Broken jail window.
He went
He
to
has
jail.
escaped. Intermission.
He has escaped intermission. And now we're waiting to see if he gets
Well, I already know what
Cosette.
happens.
Well, I'm figuring it out. It's been an emotional roller coaster
I've
so
had to
far.
explain so much of it.
I don't think this video is going to be 7 minutes for class. Sorry, class, you're going to suffer through this with us, through a long video. It's been very good so far. I'm actually very entertained. It is now 9 p.m. We've been here since 5:30.
Actually, no.
Yes, it is actually 9. So from the last movie,
God. It's my bedtime.
we come back from part 1 to Colette being a tiny child and Mr. Jean, I don't remember the names at this point. Mr. Jean adopts Colette from the mean family. He basically takes her and is like, you know what, I'm giving you this much money, I'm taking her. Because they were like, no, give us more money, because they were kind of mean. I don't like that family, they're abusive and bad. So he
need
takes Colette.
therapy.
Fast forward 8 more years. It has been 16 years. This one cop is looking for Jean. Franken Valdecourt is looking for Jean.
Crazy ex-girlfriend match.
So Cosette, whatever his name is, Sea Lady turns 16 and she has a secret boyfriend. He's at least 20 from what we know of. He's under 25. A little bit weird, but I guess it's the 1800s. Who cares? I don't know. He's a part of the secret forces that are trying to overthrow the government, French Revolution style, because that's around the time. They mention Waterloo. I only know that from the song ABBA, Waterloo. But I know it's an important battle. Anyway, we are both going a bit crazy because it's way past our bedtime for this. So, yeah. She's in love with her secret boyfriend. They're trying to figure out how to marry each other. What's his name? Marius? Yeah, he's a part of the secret revolution.
Marius?
Mr. Marius joins, he goes sees his rich grandfather and is like, can I marry this girl? And he's like, dude, you owe me a ton of money. I don't like you. And then he leaves and he's like, aw. Anyway, and then we find, Cosette and her father is Jean, but we don't know his Jean. His name is like Mr. Franchenfurt or something.
Sounds like fraudulent.
It sounds like fraudulent, so it's really funny because he's been hunted for 16 years at this point, which is hilarious. Anyway, so they hand out money to the poor. One of the poor people ends up being Cosette's ex-family from 8 years ago, the 2 sisters, the older man and the older woman who were abusive.
And
So they're like,
now
oh my
son.
god, they put it together that Cosette is the Cosette that was stolen from, quote unquote stolen. She made it to a much better place. She's not dead though. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, Mr. Jean, aka Mr. Fraudulent Frankenfurt, whatever, he goes to their house because they're like, we're poor, mother is sick. She was not sick, she pretended to be sick and bedridden. She's not sick at all. They lie to him and they're like, come back at 7, please give us money and assess our needs. They go to the local gang that, I'm gonna call them the Piedmont Mountain Men. I don't know, it started with a P and an M. There's so much going on in this plot. I'm very enjoying it. Anyway. We're only on part 2 out of 3. Anyway, they go and talk to the local gang and are like, help us rob this rich man and maybe kill him if he doesn't give us the money. So then, funnily enough, Marius, who is Cosette's soon-to-be husband, lives next door, heard all of this, and goes and tries to tell Cosette what's happening. She's kind of hysterical and is like, baby, I love you, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he goes to the police. He tells the police what's about to happen. Then he goes back and comes back home, and one of the sisters who's in love with him locks him in his room so that nothing bad can happen to him during this. Meanwhile, Jean Fraudulent, I'm gonna call him John Fraudulent. I don't have a French accent. This is hard. John Fraudulent goes over there and he's like, hey, let me assess your needs. Your wife's walking. Why is she walking? She was bedridden. And then they started an all-out brawl. Very good fight scene, honestly, for a 1930s film. Very entertaining. And the police get in there, and then he jumps out a window because he knows the police are looking for him. He jumps out the window. He goes to his home. The police find him, and he's like, I've been looking for you for 16 years. Very, very weird that he's been searching for 16 years so aggressively. And he's like, you are a fraud. The pun was very funny. All while the baby, the original baby of the sisters and the 2 abusive parents, is like a grown little boy now. And the little boy is like, well, he's like, well, I'm an orphan again. And then just whistles and walks away. I love him. He's so funny. Anyway, also Cosette, so pretty. So pretty.
Gorgeous.
Just like her mother. Rest in peace, Fontaine. Maybe they did. Honestly, they do look very similar. After that happens, he escapes again from the police. 16 years of this. He goes to the garden and finds his daughter being like, I love this boy, I love this boy. And then he's like, no, you can't marry my daughter. Because the boy is the one who didn't tell. He told the police, but then he found out. Like, something about the Waterloo battle, I wasn't really following.
A letter from, like, his great-great-grandfather that had been saved.
His grandfather's the colonel.
And
that was saved, quote-unquote
like a letter
saved.
Where it's like, quote-unquote, this family saved me. If you
Except
ever
he
find him
stole
here,
from him. He stole his pocket
if
watch
you
and
ever
just thought
find
he was helping him.
You treat him with great kindness, and so that's
Conflict
for the
of
family.
interest.
And then
Of course they had
he
to
was
do
like,
that.
Oh, what do? I owe them because of this person.
So he's basically like, you know what, fine, Cosette, you can be in love with him. We're not gonna move away to England. And that's kind of where it ends. Actually, no, it ends right after they see a bandwagon of like 100 prisoners being taken to the prison that he was at when he first, at the beginning of the movie. All
They
right.
gave us free bubbles.
It's 11 o'clock. We have just finished Les Miserables. It's 11. We've been here since 5:30. Quick recap. The French Revolution. It happened. It started because a general died, and then the Parisians were like, let's overthrow the government because we hate this general. So they invaded the general's like march through the city, the whole town funeral. They invaded his funeral march. The evil girl with the E name who's in love with Marius was like, I'm gonna hide his letter and replace it with his letter from Colette being like, my father said we can get married, don't go to war. She replaced it with, go to war, your friends are waiting for you. So Marius went to the war. He was very out of it because he was like, I still love Colette. He was like, I still love Colette. So anyway, Marius joins the war. The war made a bunch of barricades all over the town. It was very impressive. The fight scenes were very nice. Fight scene, very nice. Very coolly made. Somehow, both the evil E lady and Jean, what's his name, the convict guy, snuck into the barricade because apparently he wasn't that good, and they tied up the guy who was trying to find Jean the whole time, Javancourt, whatever. They tied him up because he's a traitor. He traded.
W.
I don't know. I'm so tired. Yeah, he was a traitor. So they got him and they tied him up, and then Javancourt, no, not the Jean guy, was like, I am going to save you instead, but please let me say goodbye to my daughter or something. Somehow Marius was gonna get blown up at some point, but then the evil E-lady stopped him, and she died instead of Marius and was like, please kiss me before I die. Yeah, she loved him. And then Marius, some guy was like, let's blow up the whole barricade. We're all gonna die anyway. So they blew up the whole barricade of everything. All of them are dead, except Marius. Marius is like knocked out, so Javancourt's, Jean's like, okay, I'm gonna save Marius, so he climbs through the sewers. He carries him like a rag doll. Also, the child we really like, he got killed trying to get a bunch of guns. But he's so sassy. I'm so sad. I don't know.
Oh, they're watching Black Panther.
Recapping, stay focused.
No, I can see through the window. They're watching Black Panther.
That carries him through the sewer, and then Javancourt's waiting for him, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna take you to prison now. And then he's like, please let me save him. So he saves Marius by dropping him off at his rich grandfather, who's like, I hate him. And then he sees he's actually dying, and he's like, he's actually dying. I'm gonna love him now. And then he goes and sees his daughter, and then at the end of it, after that, we don't know what happens with his daughter, but we find out Javancourt kills himself because he drowned himself because he can't put Jean in jail for some reason. So he's just like, yep, I'm gonna kill myself.
Conscious.
So his conscience said, kill yourself. So he's dead. And then Marius and Cosette get married, but Jean doesn't go to the wedding. We find out the reason Jean doesn't go to the wedding is because also the great grandpa has some moves on the dance floor at the wedding. I will say Marius's grandpa can move it very good. Anyway, after that, Jean goes and sees Marius and is like, I have to tell you, I couldn't be at your wedding because it would be null because I'm an ex-convict. And then he's like, why are you telling me this? And then Colette's like, why are you leaving me, father? And then he's like, guys, my wound reopened. I'm dying because of the sewer water that got in his wound. And then he dies. And he's like, give me a tombstone with no name. And that's the end of the film.
I'm going to Bilbao.
Yay. Hello, this is me, Morgan, a day later after watching Les Mis and sort of reflecting on some of the thoughts I had. I thought the set design and scenery locations for this film were very pretty and well picked. Their use of camera angles and editing techniques for the 1930s was very impressive. The story was very investing, although it was semi-slow. It wasn't too slow where you fell asleep. You were very drawn into it, and I feel like the slowness isn't that noticeable overall in the film, especially for it being 4.5 hours. I was very invested the whole time. It's not really a silent film, but it definitely uses the lack of words and more of soundscapes to shape the picture and give the intense feelings it wants to produce the miserableness, I guess. The cast itself was very good at acting and singing, and some dancing as well, which was very impressive. They did a lot of cool overlapping transitions, and multiple shots were not from a solid, just straight angle. They're very tilty, which was really cool. Overall, I would give Les Mis a 10 out of 10. Honestly, it was a really good film and very advanced for the time it was made in, and that makes it super impressive to me. I thought it was very funny, very sad, very interesting, very emotional. It was just a great film, honestly, and I don't watch films that a lot, so it was just a great film, honestly. 10 out of 10. Go see it.